What's up everyone? Welcome to another video on passive income investing. You guys really seem to enjoy my last video on what you should do now that stocks are at an all-time high. So that topic was the clear winner in June's survey, but I was very surprised to see that the FIRE 4% rule option was in second place, and since I'm a man of the people, I decided to make that video this month as well. So one of the guiding principles of the FIRE movement or the FIRE community, whatever you want to call it, financial independence, retire early, is that 4% rule, right? So this is basically a guideline that tells you how much money you actually need to save up and invest before you could safely retire and live off of your investments. But what most people don't know is that all the research done to actually come up with this 4% rule was done over 20 years ago in the 90s. So I grew up in the 90s, okay, and most of the stuff from that decade is now obsolete, like the Nintendo 64, which was pretty much my best friend at the time. So the 4% rule is no different, guys. I found a much better way, and I don't just talk the talk, I also walk the walk, because we achieved FIRE in 2019 without following the 4% rule. So there is a much easier and faster way to achieve financial independence. I'll tell you about it right now. So if you're new to the channel, welcome guys. The mission of this channel is to help everyday regular people invest on their own in order to build their own stream of passive income and enhance their quality of life and eventually reach financial independence. But unlike other YouTube channels, I don't just talk about it, I actually show you exactly how to invest in order to achieve that specific goal. So if you like this sort of content, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on my future videos. So what the heck is this 4% rule anyway? How do you figure out your FI number or your financial independence number using the 4% rule? So the FI number is basically an amount, so it's how much you need to save up and invest to be in a position to actually quit your job and live off of your investments. So let's quickly talk about that first, and then I'll tell you why the 4% rule is now obsolete and how we achieve FIRE without it. So the 4% rule, guys, comes from a study done by 3 professors back in the 90s called the Trinity study. So the goal of this study was really to determine the safest annual withdrawal rate in order to safely live off of your investments. So after much analysis, they came up with a 4% withdrawal rate, which means that if you withdraw only 4% of your total investment value every year, you should be good to safely live off of your investments for at least 30 years, if not forever. So in terms of investments, we're pretty much talking about the mainstream index fund investing. So many people in the FIRE community who follow this rule to a T typically get the very popular and mainstream index funds, either from Vanguard or from iShares, which is basically kind of like buying the entire stock market worldwide. So it's not really rocket science. You could really achieve this with less than 10 funds. You don't need a giant portfolio of stocks to do it. Of course, the 4% rule is not guaranteed to be successful, but the study shows it works with about a 96% success rate. So now that basically your FI number refers to the total amount of money you need to save up and invest, adhering to the 4% rule. So how do you determine this FI number? Well, it's pretty easy. You need to determine what your monthly expenses are, multiply that number by 12 so you have your annual expenses, right? How much money you need to live off of for 1 year. All you need to do after that is divide that number, your annual expenses, by 0.04, and voila, you have your personal FI number. For example, for us personally, our expenses are currently about $4,000 a month to live a relatively good life. I even made sure I had some money in there for non-essentials and fun stuff because I don't want to take a minimalist approach to this. Although if you're okay with that, then it'll probably be much lower than $4,000 a month, right? But it's completely up to you. If you want to make sure, my opinion, I wouldn't put a bare bone minimalist number, although you can technically. Either way, find out for you personally the amount you're comfortable with. Okay, for us, it's about $4,000 a month or 48K a year. So divide 48K by 0.04 and you get $1.2 million. So that's our FI number if we would follow the 4% rule. So I would need to save up and invest $1.2 million so I can safely withdraw 4% of it every year to live off of it safely. As simple as that. Okay, so why do I say that the 4% rule is now obsolete? Well, if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you probably guessed it already. One aspect of this 4% rule that I want to bring to your attention is when the study was done, 1998, 23 years ago. So a lot has changed since then, right? There are much better options nowadays other than index funds. We are absolutely spoiled for choice. We have funds that have income enhancing strategies like the covered call strategy, of course, for example, which is the bread and butter of my personal investment portfolio. Many funds also use leverage now, which is borrowed money, but cheap borrowed money thanks to the super low interest environment we currently live in. This can greatly enhance the yield that the funds provide. Split share funds, for example, use both covered calls and leverage. Some funds only use leverage and others only use the covered call strategy with no leverage. So we're absolutely spoiled for choice, like I said. This is why the 4% rule is obsolete. There is a much better way. So here is my FI number, or my opinion on how to reach financial independence. If you need $4,000 a month to live comfortably, then simply invest enough to make $4,000 a month in passive income. That's it. Simple, straightforward, and logical. And here's the best part, guys. There's no need to withdraw anything ever. Think about it. If you need $4,000 a month, then all you need to do is invest enough to make $4,000 a month in pure passive income. As simple as that. Think of it as interest, right? Living off your interest. So my portfolio currently yields a little more than 10.5% annually. So I definitely don't need $1.2 million. I only need about $457,000 with that kind of annual yield. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, you're making 10.5% because you invested consistently, including during the crash of 2020. So your yield is much higher than you could get right now as the stock market or as stocks are at all-time highs. That's true, but even in today's market, guys, you can easily still make 8 to 9% by investing in a broad mix of covered call ETFs, split share funds, and income funds. So to play it safe, find your annual expense number, or how much you need to live comfortably in 1 year, and divide it by 0.08 instead of 0.04, 8%, because 8% is the more conservative yield you can get in today's market using my investment strategy. So in my case, for example, 48,000 divided by 0.08 would be $600,000, exactly half of what you would need if you were following the 4% rule. So in summary, guys, the 4% rule is obsolete in our day and age. If you ask me, I found a much easier and quicker way to become financially independent. And it's even safer because there's no need to withdraw anything or touch the principal. You simply live off the interest or the passive income that your portfolio provides you. You never ever need to touch the principal. So how can I be so sure about this? Well, it's because I'm living it right now, and it's been a few years already. We became financially independent back in 2019 after we sold our paid off condo and invested almost all the money in the stock market in the types of funds that I mentioned earlier. So currently our income focused portfolio of about $670,000 generates just under $6,000 a month. So we are well covered in terms of expenses. We didn't need $1.2 million. We're living purely off the passive income or the interest that the portfolio generates without withdrawing any of the principal. So if ever you're new to my channel, guys, please note that I unveil my entire portfolio every single month. I even have a playlist playlist that shows you every monthly unveil, so you can actually follow my investing journey, because I know you guys really love and appreciate the complete openness and honesty of the channel. So I will continue to do those videos. So make sure to check them out if you haven't seen the latest portfolio unveil. You can even download my portfolio for free. You can download the spreadsheet on my website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. It's the very first link in the free tools and resource section right at the top. So just because I know this comment is coming, because I have a 10% plus yield, or when I said my strategy could easily give you 8% yield in today's market, no, high yield does not necessarily mean high risk. So I get this comment and concern constantly on my channel via email or the YouTube comments. The truth is, guys, it really depends how the yield is being generated. If it's a single stock, then yes, 8% yield is very high, or it could certainly be a red flag. Trust me, I already learned that lesson with the 2020 COVID-19 market crash. So high yield funds that use the covered call strategy, which is my portfolio's bread and butter, can easily offer high yields and be just as safe as regular dividend ETFs, if not safer, because of those covered calls. So that's an added benefit of the covered call strategy. If you have no idea what I'm talking about or what the covered call strategy is, by the way, please check out my covered call videos. I have a few of them where I explain what it is in detail. But in short, it's a zero risk income enhancing strategy. So instead of getting like 3 to 5% with a regular dividend stock or even a Vanguard dividend ETF, for example, the covered call equivalent ETF that pretty much holds the same stocks, the same blue chip dividend stocks, can easily give you a yield of 6, 7, 8, or 9%. So these are funds designed for income rather than share price growth. So it's an absolutely perfect investment strategy if your ultimate goal is to become financially independent. So I'm not just talking out of my rear here, guys. I'm actually living what I'm preaching. So if we could do it, so can you guys watching this video. I would strongly suggest consider changing your investment style to my passive income focused style if achieving financial independence is your top priority. You will simply get there much faster and probably half the time as somebody who's following that 4% rule. It's really a no-brainer if you ask me. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please support me in this channel by hitting that like button. It's free for you. It helps grow the channel, so it's a win-win. And some of the stuff I talked about, you know, the 4% rule, the covered call strategy, I will put the links to all the stuff I discussed and referred to in the video description below, so check those out. Also, please make sure to visit our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you could purchase my digital product, the Ultimate Dividend Passive Income Investing Package, which is all my years of research putting together the best funds for ETFs, split funds, income funds for both Canadians and Americans as well. So I also have knowledge and I'm aware of all the best US listed funds that adheres to my strategy. I know that my portfolio is mostly Canadian funds, but that's because I'm Canadian. But you Americans or outside of North America, if you're dealing with the US stock market, you have a lot of options as well, and they're all in my digital product. You also have some sample portfolios as well for Canadians and for Americans. So I strongly suggest you pick it up. It's only $45. It's not expensive, and it comes with lifetime updates. So I'm already on version 2, and version 3 is also in the works as well. Also, I do offer a one-on-one consultation service also on my website, but unfortunately, I'm completely booked up until August. I will let you guys know as soon as the August calendar opens up. So sorry for delay, but stay tuned for that. More appointments are on the way. And finally, guys, make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss out on my future content on passive income investing. It's all designed to really help you guys to build your own portfolio, to build an income stream so you could become financially independent. We're also on Instagram. We have a Facebook group, over 1.6K members now, so it keeps growing. We have a nice little community there. So join us on social media if you use those platforms as well. Our mission remains the same, guys. The mission of this channel is to help everyday working people invest on their own, do DIY investing so you could build your own income stream and enhance your quality of life and eventually become financially independent. There's no greater goal. There's no greater thing to achieve. Trust me, it's a huge burden off your shoulder once you achieve financial freedom. So with that, take care, guys. Make sure you get that second vaccine dose as soon as you can. Stay safe and see you next time.